Good morning.
Welcome back. It's a good look with poetry, bars, and hooks. You know what it is. Party 101.9, iHeartRadio, and of course, the Matrix Studios Network. And we have the one and only Keri D. Singleton.
Oh. Yes, because it's that early in the morning. Yeah.
I got people out of their beds than normal.
Crawling out of the bed. But it's good. It's good to be here. It's good to definitely be at the Matrix Studios. Shout out to the Matrix Studios. I feel like I'm back with family because I haven't hung out with you guys in so long. And shout out to the new studios. Beautiful down there.
Thanks.
Yeah, beautiful,
Thank
beautiful. Good look. Good look. Good look,
It's
Seabrook.
a good look.
Good look, Seabrook. Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is.
So, Keri, thank you again for being here. We
Absolutely.
appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You are doing amazing things. You're all over. Everywhere I see is Keri. I'm on this. I'm on this. I'm on this. I'm like, wait a minute. And so now, but anyway, so
I came to New York City in 1996. Did not come to play around.
I know that's right. And where did you come from?
Boston.
Yes, Isn't it Boston?
It's whatever. It was what it was. But yeah, I did not come to play around. I came to get into the industry, and I made a promise to myself when I came here in 1996, almost 28 years ago, I would not leave the city limits ever if I was able to finally get the opportunity to move to New York City. And I haven't. I've lived in 4 boroughs. I've lived in every borough except for Manhattan. So shout out to the Bronx.
It's weird. He actually lived in Staten Island.
Yeah,
nobody ever lived
nobody
in
ever lived there.
Staten
Yeah.
Island.
That's the borough I've actually lived in the longest. But I've lived in the Bronx. I've lived in Brooklyn, Queens. And I lived in Staten Island for a little over 10 years. But I was not playing. I was not trying to leave the city limits. No Yonkers, no Long Island, no New Jersey. No. Just if it's not in the city limits. The subway don't go there. Well, if MTA don't go there, I don't go there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, basically.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your journey. You had some poetry skills.
Yes.
And that's how it started. It ended up in a newspaper, and then you created some more writing.
See, that's another thing you and I
we
have in common. Yes, I'm a
so
poet.
before you go, you're gonna spit something. I hope you know.
Well, the memory ain't that good, sister. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to
we'll get back
pull
to
something
that.
up. Yeah. But yeah, I was 9 years old. There was a poetry contest in the Boston Herald. It was a Halloween-themed poetry contest. And if you wrote a poem that the Boston Herald liked, they would print it. And I still remember the name of it. It was called Boo and Simon Sue. Don't judge.
Boo and Simon Sue. Okay.
Boo, yeah. Boo was a ghost.
Like,
yeah. I was 9.
That's what's up.
And it got printed in the Boston Herald. And a 9-year-old living in Boston, looking at his poem in the newspaper, that was it. That was when I knew that I actually wanted that. All I ever wanted to do in life was to be a writer at that point. So poetry was my first love. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you actually made that happen. You're an author, and your debut novel was The Wanderer's Game.
Yes.
And that is about a male prostitute, in the world. Hold on. It delves into the world of male prostitution, and it received a critical acclaim. What inspired you to write something so challenging?
Okay, so first of all, thankfully that book tour has long ended. The book came out in 2013. Had to go on the tour and promote it. And the question that people always ask me, Kim, is this about you? I'm like, no. Like, I'm just a
writer.
A good writer. I have a great imagination. I will say this, though. In all honesty, there was some segments of the book, some of the stories were written about people that I did know that did strange things for change.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I had roommates when I lived in the Bronx that...
Shout out to the Bronx.
Not too much on the Bronx. Not too much on the Bronx.
They kind of they did some things, but and the rest of that was the rest of the book basically, aside from the points that I got from some of people that I knew that actually did do strange things for change. There was a book that I read called City of Night that I loved.
Okay.
And a lot of the Wanderer's Game components are pulled from those two situations. And then, like I said, I lived in New York I moved here in '96, so it was still, like the corner of 34th Street and 8th Avenue was not what it is today.
Got you.
You know, so.
Gotcha. Well, you're looking pretty dapper there.
Thank you.
know, you got the matching.
Well,
your pants.
the hoodie, the hoodie actually
shades.
has
What's the
some
hoodie
meaning.
got? Okay.
So, shout out to my buddy Francie Frace. He's a designer out of Brooklyn.
Okay.
So he made this
the
for me a couple
microphone.
years
I'm
ago.
sorry, got to add that too.
Yeah, the microphone, because this is for you because you're a poet.
Absolutely.
But the hoodie says "Idol." "Idol" is the title of my second book. So this is promoting my second book, and of course, the TV show and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I try to come coordinated.
Yeah. Don't want you to think like he too cool that he had to wear shades, but it just looks good. So
I
that's
did
why he's
ask
wearing
her,
it before y'all start acting
ladies
like,
and gentlemen, I did ask her before we went on, was it too pretentious for me to wear shades?
Right.
Kim said no, this is her house. So I kept them on.
And the lights are bright in here, so
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. So whatever, it's cool. Yes.
So let's talk about some challenging periods you had in your life.
Uh-oh.
Incarceration. But from that, you got 2 novels out of that.
Yeah, but I also got incarceration out of it. I'm not ashamed.
No.
I'm not
Of
ashamed
course,
to talk
I get
about
it.
it.
Right.
I'm not ashamed. So yeah, when I came to New York City in 1996, I said I would never leave.
Make sure that you stood by that.
So the only time from 1996 to 2004, the only time that I wasn't a resident of the 5 boroughs was when I was a resident of upstate New York. Yes. A visitor, I should say.
A visitor,
Yeah, a visitor. So actually, my 2 books were actually written in the Attica Correctional Facility in Attica, New York, a notorious prison. I'm not proud to say that I experienced that at all, because it wasn't anything to be proud of. But I was in solitary confinement, and I had nothing to do but write. And so I wrote. And when I got out, eventually, when I got it, I decided I wanted to take that experience, something from that experience, make it positive. So there was a couple of things that I did. I went to college and studied criminal justice to make sure that I would never get back in the situation that I was in again. A couple of the manuscripts that I wrote while I was in Attica were made into my first 2 novels. And then the poems that I wrote while I was incarcerated, my third project as an author was a poetry book called Journey. So I tried to, take that experience of being in state prison for 3 years and make something of it. And by the way, in case people want to know, it was identity theft that sent me to prison. It wasn't slinging drugs or shooting people or, I had a white collar crime that sent me to prison.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
But, we won't. But because...
Hey, good things come to because
look at you now. I mean, look at you now.
You know what? There was a point in my life when I wouldn't even want to talk about it. I would lie and tell people, Mr. Singleton, where did you get your inspiration for your books? Where did you write your books? And I would say, I went to Roosevelt Island, my favorite writing place, which it is. But the truth is, it was Rikers Island where I got the inspiration to write the book.
You was on an island.
Yeah, I was on Rikers. You know what I mean? So I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah, I mean,
because I got through it.
Exactly.
It's part of my journey, and we all go through things. So, now I speak at youth facilities in the Bronx and in Brooklyn. At the jails, the youth jails.
Okay.
So I mean, it's giving me some insight into different worlds, and so, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I would. But
if you are, you got to find something to get out of there.
Make the best out of a bad situation. Right.
So let's talk about Keri's Corner, which I've had the opportunity of being a guest on. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we had a
fun. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
I still got your bag. And your book. And the Keri's Corner radio show ran for 10 years and 8 months.
On every single platform that you could possibly imagine.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. We were on 9. By the time we wrapped up in December of 2023, we were syndicated on 9 stations. And one was in London, which was one of the syndicated networks we were on the longest.
Okay.
But we wrapped up our live shows, our live tapings. We wrapped up actually on September 11th of all days.
Okay.
It was our last day of taping live, and then we just ran pre-recorded shows until Kwanzaa. And our very last show during Kwanzaa week of 2023. We had Patrice Rushen, who's one of my favorite recording artists, so that was pretty dope. But it was a dope show. I mean, we ran for longer than I wanted to. I'm gonna tell you that. I was at year 5. I was like, "That's it, we're done." But after 10 years and 8 months, I can say that I had the opportunity to meet some really great people like yourself. And you learn, Kim, when you have a guest on your show. For me, anyway, it was like a give and take.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It wasn't just about what I had to say. I got so much good energy and good stories from so many of the guests that we had over the course of a decade. Yes, I guess I am.
You can write a book.
Yeah,
you can write a book about everybody's story and make it somebody else's story.
And I will say this. I will say this, with the exception of 2, every single guest that I had for 10 years and 8 months was awesome. Two rappers. They were not on my show at the same time, but they were just real arrogant and rude. One didn't bathe, and the other one thought he could put his feet on the walls and just.
Oh God.
Yeah, so it was 2 rappers, but every other guest that I had for 10 years and 8 months, I learned some great stuff from, and I wouldn't have changed the experience for the world.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was cool.
So, all right, you already mentioned you're out there working with the kids and those in the school, not in the schools, in the juvenile centers?
I have gone to the schools. I've gone to a couple of New York City schools, one in the Bronx again, 2 in Queens to do Career Day and Inspiration Day and talk to them. But yeah, I have gone to the 2 juvenile detention centers. There's one in the Bronx. Was it Crossroads? One is Horizon.
Okay,
one is Crossroads.
I've worked for Horizons.
I can't remember which is which. So one is in the Bronx and one is Brooklyn.
Horizons in the Bronx.
Yeah, and I've gone there to read, poetry. But I kind of figured, these dudes don't want to hear that. They want to hear inspiration. They want to hear stories about what they can do when they get beyond this. And I noticed that I would walk in and they would just look at me like, oh, whatever. What does this do? And the first thing I would say to them is, first things first, I've been to prison. And they're like, oh.
Right.
Because now they can relate. Yeah, now they can relate, but I don't want to talk about the prison experience. They want me to glorify it. I'm not glorifying it. For those of you that are going to prison, it's nothing to look forward to. However, what you can look forward to is your experience beyond prison. And I offered internships to a lot of the kids upon their release and everything, because I just feel like a lot of the kids, they just don't have a chance. They never met an author. They never met a radio host. They never met anybody outside of their either housing development or their hood. So they don't even have an outlet, even if they wanted to do something positive. Me, I went to jail for identity theft when I was in my 30s. Right. I went late.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was a fish out of water. I had a good upbringing. I went to college. I promoted records for Tony Braxton and Usher and the Notorious B.I.G. and a lot of the other Arista artists way before I went to prison, right? So when I got out, it was pretty easy for me to assimilate back into society. But for a lot of people who've actually come down the prison pipeline per se, they started off maybe in foster homes, and then they go to juvie, and then from juvie they go to prison, and it's like it's a pipeline. So they don't have there's no break.
And that's what I was just saying. Yeah, no break.
There's no break in that. So I wanted to try to be that interim big brother, and it was a good experience. I can't wait till they invite me again.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll keep that in mind because that's what I do too. So,
yes. I definitely take me back to prison.
I got you.
Just make sure I'm a guest.
I'm gonna make sure we head out of there. Eh?
Right. It's interesting. The COs were saying, "Mr. Singleton, welcome," while I was a guest. But they weren't calling me Mr. Singleton when I was on record.
Right.
I'm telling you,
all types of
calling me all kinds of names, but Mr. Singleton was not one of them.
How did that feel though? Like that experience, like. Looking back, right? Because I'll give you an example. Because before, when you used to Google my name, you would see my criminal record, my criminal mugshot, right?
Yeah.
And then now, I have a mugshot. Yeah, back. You can Google me, and then that's what you see first.
I'm gonna Google.
You don't see it no more. Okay. Thank God. That's what I'm saying. Like you see a difference. It's a whole huge difference now, and you see all these amazing things. So now I feel good about it. So how that's got to be like
I mean,
That's
Man,
right.
listen, it
Mr.
was
Singleton.
it was definitely a very humbling experience, to say the least. It was a very humbling experience because when you're in prison, they don't give a damn, and I'm talking about the officers primarily. They don't care where you've been. They don't care what you've done. They don't care how educated you are. To them, you're just a scumbag inmate, and that's it.
Right.
And it was. I think a lot of people have asked me, what was the hardest thing for you to deal with when going to prison? It was a lot of things, but one of the hardest things for me was having to kind of bow down to these officers who, in many cases, weren't half as intelligent as I am.
Right.
Or articulate. It's just that.
And from the same hood.
Exactly. Yeah, the only thing is I got caught, you didn't. Because a lot of these dudes were from the
same.
projects.
That's what I'm saying. The same hood, and
like they was. Oh, it was.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, shout out to the COs.
Shout out to the COs.
Something else.
So, what you have, Sessions Cafe TV show.
Yeah.
You earned an award for that, the Spectator's Choice Award.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and this was a TV show you had before, and now it's back.
Yeah. So during the pandemic, back in 2020, I wanted to. My manager and friend at the time, Dion McGill, he said, "Keri, you should do a TV show." I was like, "Hell no," because we tried that once before. We did the Keri's Corner TV show in 2016, and that was just. They basically put me in the street and wanted me to be Keri, the radio host, on camera.
Okay.
That was just too much work. You know what I mean? It was just we did a couple of episodes, and I was like, we're done. Plus, my producer.
So, what was it that you didn't like about it?
My producer was a bum.
Okay.
He was. I'm very punctual. Okay. He was late with the editing. He misspells. I just.
Okay.
Just couldn't.
Okay.
So we did a couple. We did a couple of episodes. I had to be in the studio with him, tweaking it, and I was like, I'm not. So we did a couple of episodes of the Keri's Corner TV show, and I was done. So a couple of years later, Dion said, you should do a TV show. I was like, yeah, no, absolutely not. And he was saying, no, not like the Keri's Corner TV show, something totally different. So Sessions Cafe was supposed to be, or was when we initiated it in 2020, a talk show.
Okay.
Our premise was talking to ordinary people with extraordinary stories, right?
Okay.
But again, this was during the pandemic, and so we had to shoot outside. The television networks weren't doing in-studio programming. And so we did a couple of episodes. Well, we did more than a couple, actually. We filmed some in Westchester, all over New York City, in Philadelphia, in Boston, and only 3 of them made it to the light of day. I had 2 producers, and we had a liaison at Brick TV, which is Brooklyn's cable access station. We didn't have a direct connection with Brick. We had a liaison.
Okay.
And frankly, the liaison was complicated. It was real difficult.
Okay.
And he was supposed to just take the episodes that we gave him and put them on the air. He couldn't do that. He wanted to, let's change this, let's change that. So I was like, you know what? After a couple of episodes, I said, you know what? We're done.
Okay.
We'll revisit this at a later date.
Okay.
And when I decided to, put the brakes on the Keri's Corner radio show, immediately I decided I wanted to jump into the TV show. So Sessions Cafe TV show it's nothing like the radio show.
Okay.
The radio show was funny and lots of sexual innuendos and smart. We had fun. The TV show is more like Donahue.
Okay.
Daytime talk show with an edge. We're interviewing people about their journeys, not so much their accomplishments. You know what I mean? And so I've always said the difference between Keri's Corner and Sessions Cafe is Keri's Corner, we want to talk about your latest record or the restaurant that you got popping or whatever. Sessions Cafe, we want to talk about the blood, sweat, and tears that it took for you to get where you are. And you're going to be a guest.
Yes.
So, we're going to be
digging deep.
We're going to be digging deep. We're going to be looking for your mugshot and all that. Yeah, but it's a dope show.
Okay.
We started taping the new episodes at Manhattan Neighborhood Network in February.
Okay.
We got 4 episodes that were in the process of editing. Actually, I have AJ here. He's the owner of Vision X Photography.
Shout out to
snapping
AJ.
cameras and
Yes.
stuff. He's the director of photography for Sessions Cafe. So we got a whole new team and a whole new vibe. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you was looking good. You know, when I stopped there the other day.
Yeah, you were supposed.
We don't have to.
No. Public apology, people. So Kim, we supposed to tape 6 episodes in February. We ended up taping 4 because some people were late.
Yes.
I was not one of them. Not Kim.
Me neither.
But my production crew, they was late. Y'all know who you are. And because of their tardiness, we were only able to tape 4 of the 6 episodes that were planned, and you was episode number 5. I think we were supposed to do because you wanted a later.
Yes.
Yeah, and I felt so bad, you guys, because Kim is one of my favorite people. I'm not saying this because you're here, because I'm on your show, but you're a poet. You got a story. You of all people have a story to tell, and I wanted to get that story out there, so I felt so bad. But we're gonna tape you next month.
I was fine. It was cool. You know, I met people. You
had
know,
pizza.
And I did not because I'm vegan.
Oh.
So yeah.
I was gonna say we're gonna have pizza again, but you're not gonna be able to eat that.
But
again.
unless me and him, we did talk about collaborating on making a vegan pizza.
Yes.
So maybe I can talk to him before that day.
Pizza pop up, Enoch
Yeah,
Daily.
yeah. Shout out to him.
What kind of pizza do vegans eat? Like,
So it has to be vegan cheese.
oh, see, I don't know nothing about all that. I don't eat beef and pork, but that's where it ends.
But I mean, you know, shout out to what you did have because it was very professional looking.
Yeah.
It looked very
Tasty?
tasty.
Yeah,
and the way that he was putting everything out, and he was even putting the sauce on it, and
You see how small AJ is, right? I bet you he ate like 16
I think I've
slices.
seen him coming back and forth.
through the studio. Pizza
I mean,
was
but they
good.
had shrimp on it. They had filet mignon. You know,
macaroni and cheese,
Macaroni
fried
and
chicken.
cheese, yeah.
The Negro pizza.
Yeah.
The Negro pizza. So we're gonna have
So
that
you know the
again,
way that you had everything laid out, you had your stylist
Kalia
there.
Clark.
Shout out to Kalia Clark. She be doing a lot out here.
We had a makeup artist.
Yeah, your makeup, like you had your hair, like it was a big deal, right?
Yeah,
so
it was a thing,
Kerry is about his business, and so we are here to give you your flowers
Thank
today
you,
too.
sister. I appreciate you.
And I want to say that
appreciate
salute on everything that you're
Thank you so
doing.
much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome. So before you leave, anything else besides the Sessions Cafe that we can look forward to?
Yes, I'm going to be 52 this month.
Yay!
And I do accept gifts. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to put out a cat. I got to.
You throwing a party? We're going to get together?
No,
What's up?
I just want my mother to come. And,
Okay.
And maybe Enoch will make some pop-up pizza pop-up, whatever he calls it. I will say this, though. No shade to anybody that does. I'm not going to be that guy to throw his Cash App up on social media talking, oh, yeah, it's my birthday.
Understand.
No, I can't.
Okay, well, then throw yourself.
Yeah. Just, yeah. What else do we have
You got
going
his
on?
phone number. Yeah, what else?
I'd like to put out another book. I'd like to put out another novel. The Wanderer's Game became a Broadway play in 2016, one night only, but we sold out. No seats were available that night. That was pretty dope. My second book, Idol, came out later that year. And then during the pandemic era, I put out Journey, which is my poetry book, and then we also put out a spoken word album based on the Journey project.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Nice.
And shot videos for it and everything.
Okay,
Yeah, we really did it big, but
You
I
had
really
that in
want
here.
I really do want to do another novel. My heart is in putting another novel out because at the end of the day, of all the things that I've been able to accomplish, writing is my passion. Writing is my heart.
Okay.
And I'm most proud, I have to say this, I'm more proud of my books than anything.
Anything. Okay.
Yeah, because at the end of the day.
And where can we get that book?
You can. I'm sorry, I'm sniffling. 'Cause
It's really cold. in here.
Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon.com. The Wanderer's Game is my first book. Idol is my second book, and at the end of the day, nobody can ever take that from you. When you're an author, and I know that you can relate, that's something nobody can ever take from you.
Right.
So I'm most proud of that. But the TV show's pretty dope too.
All right. Well, you're dope. So anything that you put your hands and your mind to is gonna be dope.
Dope energy.
Yeah. You already know.
Definitely attracts dope energy.
For sure.
Yes.
So, Keri, do you know any one of your pieces from your book off the top of your head? Or
None,
any?
not one.
Not one.
And you know what it is? Like when we shot the video. So, okay, Journey is a collection of 30 poems. The Journey spoken word album extracts 6 of those poems on an album format. And then we made music videos or whatever for 5 of them.
Right.
And I remember my video producer used to say, how the hell do you write these poems and you cannot remember them? I would always forget. I used to have like a cue cards. I'm just like, one of the things I love about you is you're one of those classic poets that can actually speak at a poetry slam. I would never be able to do that. I don't remember them.
Okay.
I just...
Like 2 lines, 3 lines, something?
And I'm
Got
on the
it in your
spot.
phone? Got something in your phone?
I'm not ready. Sorry.
Okay.
We're
gonna come back.
I'm not very tech savvy. Had I known you guys,
I know I should have warned you. But you know it's a good look with poetry, bars, and hooks.
So I should have known. Yeah. I got to get you a copy of the poetry book too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. But anyway.
Yes.
So what do you want to be most remembered for at the end of the day before we close it out? Is there anything you want to tell your audience out here for some inspiration?
Okay. So what would I want to be remembered for? I guess that means after I've left this planet.
Yes.
Jeez,
After
I
you
don't
done
think about that.
did everything you did. Why? It's a part of life.
I know. It's the end of life. Networking.
It's not the end.
I want to be known for somebody that brought people together, because I think that's super important. Super important.
Yes.
It's all about who you know in this business more than anything else, and building relationships, maintaining relationships, and keeping good relationships intact is what kind of builds your career in this industry. So I'd like to think that people would remember me, oh man, I met this person because of Keri, that type of thing.
Yes.
That I was the liaison between great relationships being built. Okay. As far as advice, just to reiterate on what I said, just build relationships, put those egos in your back pocket. I think that a lot of people in this industry get in the game because they have a space that needs to be filled in their souls. That's cool. If that's what you're all about, if that's what your motivation is, fine, right? But put that in your back pocket and know that the person that you're sitting next to today could be the CEO of a company that you want to be affiliated with tomorrow.
Seriously.
So keep those relationships intact. And what else would I say? Network. Just network.
Network.
Your
net worth is your network.
Yeah. And try to be genuine. I think people, at least in New York City anyway, being genuine is very important because people in New York City can read realness.
Yeah, for
LA
sure.
and Atlanta, y'all are a different ball game.
Right.
Straight up.
Right. That's why I left Atlanta. I lived there for 7 years.
God bless you.
I left.
I
was on probation for 5. I got off in April, moved out, and I moved back to New York, Connecticut in October.
Atlanta's cliquey and LA is fake.
That.
So New York is a real city where I kind of feel like if you're really into your art, your craft, whatever that may be, your energy will connect with other people that have the same energy, and greatness can be built.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where they can find you, Keri?
In Staten Island. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, you can, but
all over though.
Yeah. I just sleep there.
Yeah.
On Instagram, of course, Keri D Singleton, and of course Sessions Cafe TV on Instagram. I'm also the president of Intrigue Magazine. I keep forgetting to throw that out there.
Yes, the magazine.
Yeah, I got to get you in there.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Okay.
No, seriously.
Okay.
Seriously. So, Intrigue Magazine, that's Intrigue with an E, ENTRIGUE, magazine.com. Our next issue, our March, April issue, celebrating Women's History Month and everything else in between will be coming out shortly.
Nice.
And don't forget to hit my man up, AJ, Vision X Photography. The brother is pretty dope.
Indeed.
Seriously, we actually met. I was on a photo shoot for a magazine article, LVM Magazine. It just came out yesterday. And he was shooting.
You got to see his face, though. He got the eyebrows. Then he fixed his collar. Y'all missed all of that. Y'all missed all of that.
We just happened to bump into each other. He was shooting some some cityscapes because he's awesome when it comes to shooting nature and architecture and stuff. He was shooting. I saw him shooting. I was like, yo, I got a TV show. He was like, yeah, really? And that was it.
Nice.
Now he's, the director of photography for the TV show.
That's what's
We
up.
traveled to Philly together, and that was an interesting experience. Philly fashion.
We'll talk
Week,
about that next time.
But anyway, thank you so much for having me, Kim. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for being
Congratulations
here.
on your
Thank
show.
you. And likewise.
And shout out to the Matrix Studios because
Yes.
this place is dope, and I know that D has worked very hard for everything that he has accomplished. And I salute you, boss.
Indeed.
Father.
Well, we're going to go into some music. DJ Big Trav from Brooklyn.
From BK.
While we take some pictures real quick.
All right.